Welcome back to another edition of Force Friday, where we talk about Star Wars theories, characters, concepts, comparisons, analyzations, collectibles, and more. And today we're going to be talking about figures. I feel like we haven't done an action figure kind of discussion yet, so might as well do it today. And what we're going to be talking about is something that's kind of interesting because we're going to look back on it every year from now on. We're going to be talking about our top 10 wish list figures for the Black Series. Now, when I say the Black Series, I don't care if SH Figuarts does it or a Bandai model kit or whatever. I'm just using it as kind of a catch-all for the 112 for the sake of this discussion. So if you're saying, look, I'd rather SH Figuarts do this character than Black Series, like chances are I'd probably agree. But for the sake of discussion, we're just going to say Black Series to keep it simple. KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Channeling a little Takashi today. So we're going to start with the Phantom Menace, and then in a year from now, we're going to look back, see what's been announced, if anything, and then adjust our list as need be based on the news that has transpired over the course of the past year. I think it'll be a pretty interesting study. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My number 10, don't laugh at me, it's Benqua de Neros. Yes, the pod racer who just couldn't get his stuff together. I kind of relate to this fella a little bit. I feel like I've had that moment when you go out to start your car and it doesn't start. Like, that's how I feel he felt. But it also, honestly, I know it's not a popular choice, but it has nostalgic meaning to me. My brother, who's a little bit of a nut and not heavy into this stuff at all, when he saw the movie, he was like, who's that dude who couldn't get his car to start? That's my favorite guy. So he's got a special place in my heart. So that's my number 10 choice. My number 9 is Boss Nass. I feel like this is a pivotal character to that movie. He serves as a plot device to kind of provide the manpower to make the end goal achievable. But at the same time, I also think about display options. And in order to get some of these other characters that I kind of want, he kind of plays a pivotal role, not only in the film, but also in my shelves. He's also a major character in this movie, but on the B-list side of things. So he's my number 9. My number 8 is 3PO, with all of his parts showing. Now, super popular character, right? Nobody would deny it. Classic character, original trilogy character, legacy character, etc., etc., etc. I agree with all those things. However, the reason why he's so low on my list is because I'm just so burnt out with 3POs and R2s. The truth is you can never have enough because there's always display space for them. Because they're in so many scenes, they've coexisted with so many other characters in the films that there's always kind of a good place for them. I'm just personally burnt out on buying a similar type of mold, and obviously this one will be different due to the design of it, but just buying a similar type of mold of the same character over and over and over again. My number 7 is Watto. Once again, character that plays a pretty key role in the films, especially in the first act of this film. I think the mold would kind of be easy to do because the sculpt isn't so difficult. I think you could throw in a couple of those little droids to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit, because $20 for these little figures, it does sometimes hurt your soul. I get it. Small price to pay, I think, for some of the characters, but Watto isn't exactly Yoda, you know what I mean? But I think you throw in a few of those pit droids or whatever they're called, and it could make it worthwhile. A little flying stand and shove it right up his. My number 6, Captain Panaka. Once again, B-list character, but has a number of speaking lines, is present throughout the entire film, pivotal to the Queen's staff, pivotal to any kind of Naboo display you would want to do. Definitely makes up a strong component of the quote-unquote good guy side in this film. Also, I think a lot of the components would be easily reusable for other Naboo characters. C-list, D-list, E-list, maybe even an F or H list, but usable nonetheless. My number 5 is Sebulba. Once again, this character is pretty much the villain of the first act of this film. Plus, it looked good standing next to my Benqua de Neros. And I like the idea of being able to do like a pod racers display. I had one very briefly from my 3 3/4 collection before I rearranged my shelves. I just like the idea of like putting them in there, putting some of the extra supporting cast in there, having the flags and all that. Like that whole thing appeals to me kind of creatively. And it's another character, I think you make that pit droid, you could throw a couple of those in there, and you start fleshing out these little accent pieces among a collection while keeping your expenses low, plus easy sculpt work, simple articulation. To me, it seems like a minimal investment for a larger payoff. My number 4, Chancellor Valorum. My man got the vote of no confidence. She had a Senate voice, not for nothing. Like, you know how like when you pick up the phone, sometimes you have a phone voice, you put on the sauce a little extra because it might be somebody you need to make a certain type of impression on, or every once in a while when you get a cold and your voice sounds a little cooler than usual, you start talking a little bit more than you would normally. Padme definitely 100% had a Senate voice. Let me know in the comments if you agree. But if you disagree, I'm gonna let you know I think you got it wrong. Anyway, I love the idea of fleshing out a lot of the characters that are involved in the political side of these 3 movies, the prequel trilogy that is. A lot of them I find extremely interesting, and they didn't really get fleshed out a whole lot, but they played like key moments and points in order for Palpatine to kind of rise to power. And as as a result of that, I find them a lot more intriguing. You know, it's like the pawn in the larger chess game that thinks he's a king. You know, I love that. So I would love to create a space and be able to display a lot of these more political characters. And he's obviously one of the most important ones of this film. And now we're moving into the top 3. And this gets a little hard. I'm going to be leaving a name off of this list that people are going to be mad that I left off. But it's just because I know if some of these other ones that I have, which are going to be mentioned in future videos, end up coming, we're going to get this one. So don't worry about it. Give me some time. But my number 3 is Newt Gunray. Once again, one of the most important villains regarding this specific story. Plus, I love the idea of being able to put together a kind of like board of directors for the separatists. You know, the banking clan guy and the techno guy and all those, like be able to put them together for a display. And in order to do that, you got to have Newt Gunray. He's just important to that. Plus, Hasbro has a tendency of once they get started doing one thing, they kind of start seeing it through. You know, you very rarely get just one bounty hunter or one seeker. They usually give you them all. My number 2, Padme. Now, of course, with all the Padmes in these films, it always begs the question of which Padme. And this film is probably the most challenging because she has like 100 different outfits. Let me just say this. I think you could do a 3-pack Handmaiden set as like an Amazon exclusive and people would eat it up. Just putting that out there, Hasbro. Next, let's talk about the suit that I want. The one that I would choose over the rest. And honestly, I can't choose between the two. It would either be the red dress that lights up at the bottom that she wears in the palace that I think is super iconic. And I always remember from that very first trailer of her standing in the window sunlight. My runner-up choice would be the outfit she had on for the invasion on Theed. And the reason why is, once again, I think you could pop off a couple of heads and you could flesh out the handmaidens for that as well. But also because it's where she kind of kicks the most ass. Do you know what I mean? So that to me is the more action figure option of this set. But really, I want every single deco. Give me everything. And lastly, my number 1 is young Anakin Skywalker. He's obviously the linchpin to the saga, probably the most important character in the saga. And even though his representation in that film is a bit much, and he really wants to know if you're an angel, he's still an important character and one that almost every display could benefit from. I actually find it surprising that they haven't put one out yet. I also think they could probably do a combo pack of him and Watto and get away with it, but I'm not sure. I don't know how their budgets break down and everything. But I could see if the two of them came together, maybe they upped the price a little bit, it'd be an easy buy. Target exclusive or something. But he's a super popular character in the sense that it is Anakin, so they probably want to get all the money for him that they can. So I doubt we see him as an exclusive. In the same breath, I think it's just impossible to kind of have a prequel trilogy figure collection without him in it. And I'm kind of shocked, honestly, that they haven't done him yet. So let me address a couple things before we get out of here. One, I didn't mention Jar Jar. He would have made this list, but recently Yakface posted that there's a strong rumor that a 6-inch one is coming. So I'm leaving off all the potential rumors. Tell Yakface I'm giving him some love over here. Also, he's got a pretty awesome Instagram account. Secondly, Shmi is high up there for me. I just wanted to have more of a variety, but that one was a hard one to cross off my list. But the one that I know that everybody's going to be mad at me for not including is Aurora Singh. And look, I think she looks cool too. I'm just at a point with Star Wars figures because I feel like they have so much left to do that I kind of want to knock out the ones that are more pivotal to the story than they are just cool deco pieces. Don't get me wrong, I want an Aurora as much as the next guy. I just feel like there's some other more important characters to the saga to get first. So anyway, that's my wish list for top 10. Please let me know if I didn't include any of yours. Put them in the comments. I'd love to see who's up there for you, and maybe I forgot some that I regret after looking at your list. But real quick, I gotta be honest about something else. I haven't been forthcoming. I haven't been completely open or transparent, and I need to be so. I apologize for keeping this from you guys. Aurora Singh's fingers stress me out. They're too long. What is she doing with them? I don't get it. It's going to be a blow to your ego in some way, shape, or form, or she's going to be sitting there picking out shrimps, peeling the shrimps. It's going to stress you out. I don't find it attractive. I don't know why they chose that look. I'm not into it. Now that we got that out of the way, there's one thing I wanted to say as I was looking through this and I was watching the movie recently. It's amazing to me how little of these figures they've actually done done from this film. They've done Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, and the battle droids. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that might be it. And that's really a disservice to the cast of this film with some characters that have really kind of popped out over the years and become kind of fan favorites. I mean, we haven't even gotten into the C.O. Bibbles, am I right? We'll eventually do all of the films, so Attack of the Clones will be next. I might even run them back to back if people like this one, because I'm kind of in the mood to talk about it. And then I can't wait to look back on this in a year after all the things that have been revealed, all the things that we've got, and see if anything needs to fill certain slots or if the list have changed at all. And what has been produced or announced. I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.